All right, so you're probably wondering why we're back here again, but I realized I made a major mistake thanks to some comments from several of the viewers. I realized I missed something very important. So we're going to try the battery charger one more time because I'll show you in just a minute what I missed. So for starters, I've got this thing set to off. So we're just going to draw some current out of the battery here, challenge it a little bit. And we're going to take this guy over, we're going to disconnect it, and we're going to try the charger one more time after I show you something that I've learned thanks to my viewers. So at this point you're probably saying enough's enough, why are we back here? And I'm going to tell you, it's because I missed something big, as I was just saying earlier, and what I missed was that there are two wires going to each one of these alligator clips, and on top of that, one wire goes to each side, and they're electrically isolated or galvanically isolated from each other. Typically, like the spring would push on a metal part on both sides, but I think they did it on purpose. And at first, that had me wondering, that seems kind of stupid. So first, let's explain why two wires. So almost certainly, the reason for two wires is, one's a heavier gauge than the other, is one is a current supply lead, and the other one measures the voltage with a very high impedance source, which means that not much current flows in order to measure that voltage. Why would you do that? Because when you get lots of current flowing in the one lead, in this case 3 or 6 amps or something less, the voltage drop in the wire from the charger to the device is current times resistance, E equals IR. And that IR drop can be significant, but why put it on two separate clips? The reason is because maybe when you're grabbing one of the battery's corroded terminals, you're not making good connection, and the voltage you think you're supplying to it is not right, and so you're misinterpreting the state of the battery. So as a result, you have your voltage sense on one side, your current drive on the other side, or your current into the battery on the other side, and that lets you get a precise voltage measurement at the same time as being able to charge your battery accurately and evaluate it. So I pulled this out of the generator one more time, drained a little bit of current out of it. I got the probes backwards there, but got these guys sitting here. Gonna try and get a good connection. This is aluminum, reasonable conductor. Okay, we're back to connected. Okay, let's see if I can do a battery test. Gel battery rating is something like 120 cold cranking amps. Oh, I guess it just reset itself. So now it appears to be working. It says the battery's at 84% health, 22.3 milliohms, which makes sense. I'm not the greatest connection here. Would have done better with some copper, I just didn't have any. Aluminum is a pretty decent conductor and it's a pretty small path. So let's go back to smart charging. So it's gel, it's SAE, it's 120. It is 12.3 small, and look at that, it's working just fine. Okay, so I want to stand correct. I want to put myself as standing corrected here. That is completely my mistake. I totally blew it. I was convinced that the leads just were the leads were making good contact, but there was some other problem with it. Now notice the voltage reading is also pretty close to right, 12.6 volts. That's probably right on the money. Let's go measure that. I couldn't understand why the voltage measurement was so far off either, and that's because I wasn't getting both terminals. So it says 13.2, 13.46 at the terminals themselves. Aluminum really does have quite a bit of oxidation on it. 13.6, so pretty close. 13.5 there. That's within 1/10 of a volt. That's not bad. So that fixed all of the problems I just observed. And this thing is now proceeding to put about an amp into the battery at 14 volts. So this was completely my mistake. I want to point that out. I should have noted this. However, it would be good in the manual. I did not read the whole manual from end to end, But it would be good if it put in the manual that it's in big, bold letters, that it's essential to get both clamps, both sides of both clamps on the terminal, or you're going to have problems. Okay, I looked through the manual and there is no mention in the manual of having to have both sides of the alligator clip on the device. I guess they're assuming it's just going to happen, but with these small batteries, as you can see, I couldn't get both sides on. So I just said, what the heck, I'll just get one side. That should be good enough. It's not that much current, so I'm not worried about IR drop between the teeth of the alligator clip and the terminal. But here's the Black & Decker. They do not have the same issue. They have both, well, they have only one wire going straight to the terminal. So these guys use very light gauge wire, and maybe that's why they have the sense lead, or they do just much more complicated analysis, and it requires to know the battery voltage at the terminal without any IR loss in order to make a proper analysis. I'm guessing that's where they were going with that. So good on them. Incidentally, if you use their other set of terminals, they don't have two sets of wires running, just one to each end, and it looks like they combine them in this connector. So they don't do that with the terminal lugs, but they do it with their alligator clips. Very interesting. So I didn't have good connections to this. I had to actually scrape off, run these through my belt sander to get the oxidation layer off. And so we're gonna let this guy run again. Now it says battery level's 50%. That's highly unlikely, but this thing tends to change its mind after it's been running a little while. But what I want to see is what the report is going to say. Yeah, there it goes. See, now it says the battery's actually at 100%, which means it's going to go into trickle charge. And so we go to the report. It doesn't have the after charging. Let's go back and go to the testing options. Go to battery test, gel SA120. See what it says. It says state of health 86%. I'd take that with a grain of salt. The 120 amps may be wrong, I guessed, based on what one of the other batteries in this size class said, that they were 120. That says 111 cold cranking amps. So just for the heck of it, let's go to battery test. Let's change this to 110, which it just as easily could have been. Look at that. Battery state of health is 100% because I got 111 cold cranking amps out of 110 for the rating. So I guess you need to know more about your battery. It says the internal resistance and the battery voltage, so I'm very happy about that. Looks like that's working well. All right, so I got to change my position on this charger. I really like the reports it can provide. I think I checked the manual again, and there's nowhere in the manual I could find where it talks about having both sides of these alligator clips making good contact with the battery terminals. So that's really good to know. Thank you very much to the viewers who pointed that out. Multiple of you were aware of that fact. I had never seen that before. So thank you very much. You saved me and this review. So I changed my mind and I give this guy a thumbs up. It seems to work as advertised. I love the reporting features, the test analysis features, and it's a nice little size package. So thank you very much. Hope you find it useful. Hope to see you next time, even though I made mistakes.